Hello everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Beyond the Boundary. Thursday episode है तो आप सभी का स्वागत है. हमें ज्वाइन कीजिए क्योंकि हम आज काफी सारी बातों के बारे में चर्चा करने वाले हैं. Of course, there's the India Bangladesh second T20 to look at. India versus Sri Lanka Women's T20 World Cup. What do the women need to do? There's also the Ranji Trophy starting tomorrow. And the big question in Pakistan. Actually, Pakistan से दो questions आ रहे हैं. पहला question है जो रूट और सचिन तेंदुलकर का जो आमना सामना चल रहा है in terms of the number of runs that they are getting in Test cricket, and of course there was a big story in terms of whether India will play the Champions Trophy in Pakistan. अगर इंडिया फाइनल के लिए क्वालिफाई कर जाएगी तो क्या पाकिस्तान में वो फाइनल होगा या नहीं. इन सारी बातों पे हम चर्चा करेंगे, एक एक करके इन टॉपिक्स को लेंगे. और उससे पहले हम इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं आज के हमारे जो पैनलिस्ट हैं. सबसे पहले साहिल मल्होत्रा from Times of India, the editor, and of course Manuja Virappa. She's also from Times of India, sports editor and reporter. Both of them have been with Times of India for a while now. Both of you, welcome to the show. How are you doing on this Thursday evening?
Thank you, Chetan. I think recovering from yesterday and of Rafa Nadal's retirement.
Absolutely, Rafa Nadal retirement that came out of the blue. ठीक है, cricket show है, लेकिन we are all tennis fans as well. Whether it's Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, I mean it's such a big news that Rafael Nadal has retired from professional tennis. Your thoughts on that? Have you seen either of you? Have you seen him play live? I have seen Roger Federer versus Djokovic in the Australian Open semi-final. Nadal, I have not seen live. Have either of you seen him play live?
No, I think amongst the big four, he's the only one I haven't seen live. Was never a great fan of Nadal because of his rivalry with Federer. I'm a hardcore Federer fan. So while it was expected that, he was, walking into the sunset, did you expect it to come out? I think today it was out of the blue. The writing was on the wall, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same with me as well. Big Roger Federer fan. So वो rivalry वो रहती है. But that picture when Roger Federer retired, hand in hand with Rafael Nadal, both of them, of them crying, दोनों रो रहे हैं. और इससे आप कितने भी ग्रैंड स्लैम जीत लो, इससे बड़ी बात नहीं हो सकती है कि आपका करियर राइवल, the greatest rivalry in tennis, men's tennis, आप एक दूसरे के हाथ पकड़ के रो रहे हो because you both on the verge of retiring, the other one is retiring. I think that was a bigger prize for both Federer and Nadal than any number of Grand Slams that they won. तो चलो आज की बात शुरू करते हैं, क्रिकेट के बारे में शुरू करते हैं. We are still waiting for K. Srinivas Rao. वो ज्वाइन करेंगे हमें, ग्रुप स्पोर्ट्स एडिटर TOI. So then we will come to the main topic. लेकिन उससे पहले let's take up the big one, and the big one is India versus Sri Lanka Women's T20 World Cup. It was a must-need win for India. जीतना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी था. And I think they did well. So let's get the scorecard on the board. And there you go, 172 for 3. कहते हैं ना intent. और TOI पे स्टोरी भी चला था. फॉर्मर इंडिया क्रिकेटर रीमा मल्होत्रा ने भी कहा था कि इंटेंट नहीं नजर आ रही है, लेकिन कल इंटेंट नजर आई. हरमनप्रीत कौर 52 of 27, स्मृति मंदाना. These are the big game players. और मनुजा, आपको big game players चाहिए जब आपको बड़े मैचेस जीतने हैं.
Absolutely. And, it almost felt like a different Indian team turned up on the ground yesterday compared to what it was, through the previous two matches. I remember yesterday, Sahil, Gaurav Gupta and I were speaking, and it almost felt like Harman heard, the three of us speak before the match. All the boxes that we said they weren't ticking were just ticked off at one go in one match yesterday. You couldn't have asked for a more rounded performance from India. You needed Shefali, Smriti, Harmanpreet Kaur to fire. All three of them did at a good run rate. The bowlers, we were talking about them, not getting their lines right. They were on the mark from Radha Yadav, is one for the ages. So overall, I think they turned up the team that you expected them to be. But again, it was one match. That was yesterday. It's over. Sunday really is a test of character for them against Australia. They came good against Sri Lanka with their backs against the wall. But will they be able to replicate it against Australia is the big question.
Absolutely. हम करेंगे उस बारे में बात, and obviously big game, so we'll probably build up to that as well. Sahil, what did you think of this game? I'm sure you were busy with the India Bangladesh T20 as well. उस पे भी बात करेंगे, उस पे भी चर्चा करेंगे. But what did you make of this? There was a lot of intent, मुझे याद दिलाता है ये, साहिल has just vanished, we'll wait for him to come back. मनुजा मुझे
Yeah.
याद दिलाता है 21 में जब T20 वर्ल्ड कप हुआ था, इंडिया वाज ऑन द वर्ज ऑफ गेटिंग नॉक्ड आउट, एंड वहां पे भी इंटेंट, साहिल इज बैक विद अस, सो साहिल वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द इंटेंट.
Yeah,
21, UAE has not been very kind for India in T20 World Cups.
Absolutely.
We lost that big game against Pakistan, India men's, and we were fighting in terms of intent, in terms of getting those points on the board. And this win reminded me of that, कि आपको इंटेंट दिखाना है, आपने इंटेंट दिखाया है, बट एट द सेम टाइम आपको ये भी जरूरी था कि आपको वो पॉइंट्स बोर्ड पे डालने हैं. बट अगेन इट्स नॉट कंफर्म्ड येट. You have that big match against Australia. We'll wait for Sahil, but Manuja, what's your thought? How can India go about beating Australia?
I think it's all about momentum, carrying that momentum you had against Sri Lanka going. You were knocking at the doors of the semi-finals. You've tried
Yeah,
to break it open yesterday. Against Australia, you really have to get more than your A game there. Everything that you did against Sri Lanka needs to be replicated. But mind you, it's a different team. Somehow Australia know the winning ways. It's a mantra that they have mastered. It's something every team, women's team, has to replicate. They have an aura of invincibility about them. But where does India's strength come from? I think self-belief.
okay, Sahil,
Mentally, I need to be really strong against
okay,
Australia.
yeah, absolutely. And Australia have won what, 13 matches in a row now in the
Yes.
T20 World Cup alone, women's T20
Hello.
World Cup alone. So
Yes.
ICC trophies हो तो men's Australian team हो या women's Australian team हो, of course women's Australian team, it's, अगर सिर्फ हम women's cricket की बात करें on the whole as a sport, as a separate sport from men's cricket, I think it's more dominant than even men's Australian team in men's cricket. Probably because थोड़ा competition कम है. Men's cricket has been very competitive in the last 2-3 decades. But even then, last 2-3 decades, Australian men's team were very dominant as well. So Australia's dominance is brilliant. Absolutely, pan cricket. Sahil, what do you think? First of all, your reflection on India versus Sri Lanka, the intent, but then
yeah.
how do you beat Australia?
No, I think kind of around the same time yesterday, we were in a different mood, in a very overcritical mood. And I think we were just reflecting upon what had transpired in the campaign so far, right? We saw a very timid India turn up. We saw a very fatigued India turn up. Everything was nothing was going their way. I think fielding was very shoddy, very average. But just that catch yesterday, Radha Yadav, Manuja was talking about it, a substitute fielder, you know, that reaction from Jemima. I think Jemima hugged her after she completed the catch, or was it Smriti? I'm not sure who it was, but that hug, kind of told,
Purana.
yeah, it kind of told a different story altogether, right? There was relief on the faces ki yaar boss, we've been trying certain things, wo nahi ho raha tha, but everything just clicked yesterday. And I wouldn't call Smriti Mandana's knock the real game-changing knock yesterday, because she was struggling in the power play. But I think Harmanpreet just came out of nowhere and just kind of took the attack to the opposition like we want her to, and that was dominating. The strike rate nearly 200, 8 boundaries, 1-6. That was dominating stuff, boss. That was announcing that I am here to rule, I am here to dominate, and that kind of would have uplifted the morale of the dressing room and
Yeah.
clearly played a big role in the way India turned up with the ball. I think except that New Zealand game where towards the end we leaked runs we shouldn't have. I think in the Pakistan game we were spot on with the ball. The bowlers have been doing a fair job, and they continued from that. Fielding was very good. All in all, as Manuja said, as you said, big game against Australia awaits us, but I think they have momentum. They had momentum, and momentum is a very funny word in T20s. It can do funny things.
Well, that's the first comment of the day. Priyanshu with his comment. Thanks so much. आप अपने comments भेजते रहिए. जैसे जैसे हम topics लेंगे, हम discussion करते रहेंगे. Let's have the points table once again, if we can. It's a very good point that you put, Sahil. मैं इंडिया पाकिस्तान वाले मैच में ना थोड़ी सी complaint जरूर करूंगा, because I thought maybe they could have shown a little more intent in terms of getting
Yeah,
that run
absolutely.
rate,
We
getting that
Panther.
run rate up.
Yeah.
Uh, in the end, it could come down to run rate. अभी भी 4 points here, but New Zealand Sri Lanka is going to be a. We had that comment, right?
Yeah.
That is going to be a very very vital game. Sri Lanka has to beat New Zealand. That's our best chance to qualify. So yeah, absolutely. In that sense, we need. सिर्फ again, I was just saying to Manuja कि ये मुझे 21 T20 वर्ल्ड कप की याद दिला रहा है कि हमें इंटेंट भी दिखानी है, हमें विक्ट्रीज भी चाहिए, हमें पॉइंट्स भी चाहिए. But that's not going to be enough. We are still dependent on other results. Even if India loses to Australia, there are other results that need to go our way. We need to have a sufficient run rate, etc., etc. So, all eyes on the weekend, what's really going to happen. But yes, you need to play attacking cricket. You need to put Australia out of their comfort zone, as Manuja said. You need to carry that momentum, carry that confidence. You need your big game players. सिंपल आंसर अभी मैं चाहूंगा आप दोनों से, इज इंडिया बीटिंग ऑस्ट्रेलिया और नॉट?
I
Manuja, you
would
start.
call it far-fetched.
Are you sure? 13 consecutive matches.
T20 cricket. Australia can have a bad day and India can have a brilliant day.
Yeah. Sahil, your thoughts?
I don't think so. It's happening. I didn't think it will happen against Sri
This is
You said
what I
the
like
same thing
about
about Sri Lanka yesterday.
No, I this is what I like about
I'll
it.
continue with the
It's
trend.
very-
Maybe
it's
kind of
very
the opposite happens again. Maybe the opposite happens again, but I don't see that happening here. Australia are like that aura of invincibility, the way they approach, especially the Australian women's team, from what I've seen. And I'll be very honest, I don't follow women's cricket that religiously as Manuja would or as Chetan would. But from what I've seen, of Australia in the recent past, that aura of invincibility, boss. मतलब पता है यार ये तो उड़ा देंगे आगे यार. वो 99 से 2003 वाले ऑस्ट्रेलिया मेंस टीम का याद दिलाता है.
एक चीज यहाँ पे जरूर बोलेंगे before we proceed to the next talking point. Sri Lanka, they are the Asian champions. Asian. They beat India in the semi-final, and then they beat Pakistan. Sorry, they beat India in the final, and then Pakistan they are already beaten in the semi-final. शारजा में खेला जाएगा. न्यूजीलैंड के अगेंस्ट है. न्यूजीलैंड have just lost by a huge margin to Australia. न्यूजीलैंड ने पहले अच्छे रन्स बनाए थे. I think 140 odd they scored, and then they were chasing 150. It's been a very bad defeat for them. Is there a chance Sri Lanka could do us a favor? जैसे प्रियांशु ने कहा कि it's the best chance for us. Manuja, what do you think? There's a chance the Asian champions rise to the occasion, do their neighbors a favor?
To be honest, Chetan, for me, New Zealand are one of the favorites.
Okay.
I know, things didn't go well for them in their previous game. I think they're too solid a team for Sri Lanka, which is struggling. Clearly, when there were visuals of the team leaving the stadium and entering the bus. I think barring their skipper, everybody looked crushed. So how well are they going to pick themselves up? Sharjah, of course, could favor the Sri Lankans, but I don't see them beating New Zealand now.
Okay. So the favor is, in Manuja's opinion, is not coming, but fingers crossed. If India can beat Australia, hopefully Sri Lanka can. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next point of discussion, and that is India versus Bangladesh. I was supposed to go to the game. I could not go to the game. I couldn't be on the show yesterday as well. I was down with viral. But what a game, yeah! What a game. You think of T20 क्रिकेट. हम लोग उस दिन बात कर रहे थे जब हमारा इनॉग्रल शो था कि क्या मजा आएगा बिना विराट के, बिना रोहित के, to watch T20 cricket. I think if this team can, let's before even we look at the scorecard, if this team, they're 40 for 3, if this team continues to play the way they did, ठीक है. संजू के बारे में बात करेंगे. अभिषेक शर्मा, सूर्या आउट हो गए.
संजू के बारे में चेतन जरूर बात करेंगे.
यार देखो, संजू के बारे में बात ना हो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है. मैं पूरा हफ्ता वेट कर रहा हूँ ट्वीट करने की. I thought कि मैं संजू के ऊपर तब तक ट्वीट नहीं करूंगा जब तक ये सीरीज खत्म नहीं हो जाएगी. So we'll get there. But the way this team has played, the team has batted. It's heartening, And if they continue to play this way, I think, big names, Rohit, big names, Virat, it'll be interesting to watch them. So let's start with Sahil.
Absolutely, yaar. Matlab, last couple of weeks back, we were doing a show for a different platform, and there we were discussing about India's test squad and how there's a transition waiting to happen. And my response, I was discussing with Jamie, yaar. our good friend Jamie Alter, and we were discussing, and I was like, Jamie, I am not really interested in what Virat and Rohit are doing right now, even in Test cricket. What is exciting me more is how Shubman is adapting to number three, how
Yeah.
Jaiswal is taking the opening challenge, how the middle order is shaping up, whether KL Rahul is coming to his own at that number five, number six position, the return of Rishabh Pant. चेतन आई थिंक अब विराट रोहित अब इतना देख लिया ना, मेरा तो सैचुरेशन हो गया है, तो मेरे को तो ये प्लेयर्स बहुत एक्साइट कर रहे हैं. अब नीतीश रेड्डी को कल मैंने देखा एट नंबर 4. I think it was kind of a very refreshing thing to see Nitish Reddy at 4. Then Hardik Pandya doing what he's doing in this series so far. This is what Hardik Pandya 7.0, 8.0, क्योंकि उसका एक नया वर्जन देखने को मिलता है after every break he goes for. So
Yeah.
it's been very refreshing to see, and I've been thoroughly enjoying this series primarily because of the players who are in action. Varun Chakravarti, Washington Sundar. You want these players to get a consistent run, and thanks to the schedule, they'll get 5 more games in South Africa after the third T20. So more and more to come. So I just hope they put a consistent foot forward. Abhishek Sharma, Yuvraj Singh ki baat sun lo. Use your head and then bat. And Sanju Samson, Chetan will complete what he has to do.
Yeah. Before we do that, Sanju Samson, absolutely my favorite topic, as many people would know. Let's welcome K. Srinivas Rao, Times of India Group Sports Editor, to the show. Welcome, Srini. Let's start
Hey
with
guys.
you now. Let's add to this. I want your thoughts to this. हम यही बात कर रहे थे. They played
संजू सैमसन की तुम ही बात कर लो.
नहीं. Sanju Samson comes later. We were talking about कि आप रोहित शर्मा को मिस कर रहे हो, विराट कोहली को मिस कर रहे हो. Our inaugural show, we discussed that, didn't we? But yesterday, 40 for 3, and the way they played, the way Hardik's been playing, let's get your thoughts on that. Hardik, amazing. I think with the World Cup, we've spoken about it so much, right? Hardik Pandya always wanted to win a World Cup for India, and that final over that he bowled in Barbados, that's obviously etched in history. I think we're seeing a very different version of Hardik now. Somebody who's fulfilled what he wanted, and I think he's hungry for more. I think he looks really fit. I think this is a team to watch out for.
Definitely. See, I won't go to the extent of saying this is a team to watch out for. I'm not a believer
Okay.
in the fact that this is a team. This is any kind of a product like a made product in that way.
Okay.
So what we're looking at essentially is a process which is just about started, right? A new process post the retirement of obviously the biggest names in the Indian team. So this is the beginning of a journey. You asked me specifically about Hardik. I have said this, and I'll repeat myself. In this format, the first name that you put, on paper is Hardik Pandya. Listen, in IPL, we have been talking about the futility of the impact player, right? How the impact player has rendered an ideal all-rounder useless, and in that, such has been Hardik's overall contribution and image, that even that impact player rule really hasn't sidelined him to the extent that it has potentially sidelined some other all-rounders. Like, for
Yeah.
example, a Hardik Pandya or a Rashid Khan, that quality of all-round performance is still pretty relevant, from
Yeah.
this format perspective. Vis-a-vis, a run-of-the-mill all-rounder. No disrespect meant, but I'm just trying to kind of. So Hardik just raises the bar in terms of what he brings to the table. First guy on the list, and I'll kind of, there's a lot of talk around everything that he does and a lot of
Yeah.
distraction in his life, a lot of unnecessary distraction. I really hope he can kind of have a grip
Also
over it.
something-
But that said, he is who he is in this format.
Okay, just one more thing I would like to say here is Mumbai Indians will be liking really much कि ये जो हार्दिक है ना, ये version चाहिए उनको come the IPL. The fitter the Hardik who's absolutely on it, on the money. Let's take this comment from Ravi Shankar. He sent a lot of comments, but this is the first useful one, Ravi Shankar. One thing was looking very impressive how Indian team started hitting after losing 3 wickets, because we have always seen Indian team when 3 wickets lost, someone scoring 48 ball 50. I know what he means, 48 ball 50. Manuja, we've seen that before. Agar, like Srini said, ki it's not a finished product, this team, but I think there's something that was started by Rohit and Rahul Dravid and all of those guys with the previous World Cup, and with Gautam Gambhir coming in, and obviously he's been mentoring a few sides, and he's been leading IPL sides to victories, IPL triumphs. So he knows how to win in T20 cricket. Um, they're building an aggressive side. Can we say that? Can we, even if it's not a finished product, हम ये agree कर सकते हैं कि this is, even at the start, is looking a more aggressive outfit.
Absolutely. And also, see, I'll term this team as a work in progress.
Yeah.
See, a lot of them come, with the baggage of having, coming into a team which had Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. And I firmly believe that era has passed us. We're looking ahead. And if this is probably the teaser that we're seeing, which is very promising. The way Nitish Reddy played yesterday, it's also that hunger, I feel, because there's so much of competition. You really can't put a foot wrong often here. I mean, unless until you're Sanju Samson. Chetan, I know you come to that very soon.
Sanju Samson as much as I do. करेंगे
Yes.
बात अभी.
But if you looked at Nitish Reddy, he lost out on that chance in July when he was to make his debut. Sports Serena kept him out of the team. The opportunity came. He didn't just take it, he embraced it. He's an all-rounder you're looking at, proven domestically. And it's a lot like, Hardik, yes, is a proven player there. Someone like Riyan Parag.
Yeah.
There are so many of them. Washington Sundar, again, very injury prone. Is yet to, showcase his potential for India. But are these people who are showing you promise? Yes. Rinku Singh, again. That fearless brand of cricket that we have come to know of, I think it's a legacy that they're carrying forward.
Okay, fair point. यहाँ पे Arvind Athreya, I think he's a big Nitish Kumar fan, or Nitish Reddy fan. He's saying कि Nitish Reddy, yaar, not Nitish Kumar. Come on. Nitish Kumar is a politician. I mean,
Yes.
I know his full name, but let's
Nitish
call him
Kumar is a
Nitish Reddy.
US cricketer. Chetan Narula, you can't forget him. He put
Of
the
course,
final
yes,
nail in
of course,
Pakistan's
Nitish
coffin
Kumar
in
is
that
the-
World Cup game. We can't forget that Nitish Kumar because it coincided with the election mall. तो वो Nitish मैं भूल
बहुत
नहीं
सारे
सकता.
Nitish Kumar हैं. Let's call him Nitish Reddy. That's my
Yes.
underlying point. बहुत सारे Nitish Kumar हैं, politician भी हैं, US cricketer भी हैं, सब हैं. My point is, Nitish Reddy, can we go to BJT if we want to play Ashwin Kuldeep as a specialist spinner? This is the one thing that I like about Indian fans. मतलब आगे की सोच लो यार. पहले आगे की सोच लो, super selector खेल लो, सारे super selector बन जाओ. I think that's a bit of a stretch. That's my opinion. I think everybody will agree with me there. So let's move forward. Let's come to the favorite topic, Sanju Samson. Bhai, if I'm looking at him, let's have that scorecard. If I'm looking at him, yes, the intent. I saw somebody tweet, यार intent तो है ना. He's going Rohit Sharma's path. कि intent तो दिखा रहा है T20 में attack करने की. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. I think that's a temperament issue, not even the intent सब छोड़ दो. Consistency.
You have something personal against him. I have no doubt about it.
It is a temperament issue, Srini. Come on. How many chances are we looking at here? Are you really saying कि इस series में, okay, there's a match remaining. I hope he scores. For his benefit, I hope he scores. But since you replied, if he doesn't score Saturday, if he doesn't score on Saturday, should Samson get another chance? Very simple. You have
Chetan
Bhoot
here
there.
because,
You have
for all that we speak about Sanju and opportunities, few people get the kind of opportunities and the hype that surrounds him. I don't
know.
think he's ever justified the hype. I don't know where the reputation comes from, but it's like, some people are meant to go the distance. My favorite example is Jalak Saxena. Heaps and heaps of wickets, runs, all of it. But you don't even fit him into a scheme of things of India A or rest of India.
Yeah, I'll just take this comment in between. You can be critical of Sanju, but he's now a World Cup winner. Yeah, Rahul Dravid is also a World Cup winner now. Bench per bat ke, so it's the same. It's the same thing. Sanju Samson was as
he is.
He could have been a part of the coaching staff in that World Cup. But no, see, I agree with you.
I read something very important, Chetan, today, and I clearly remembered you when I was reading that. Now that we are in the news, in the business of digital news, we want hits, page views, unique views. So I was looking for some stuff on social media, and I found a very interesting hashtag. After what Sanju Samson is doing, hashtag justice for Team India will start trending soon. So it's going to be.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is thank you, Priyanshu, for this comment. Sunil Walson, 1983, he's also a World Cup winner. Bench
But
पर
he's a
बैठ के
good
बहुत
player.
World Cup winner
Sunil.
बन जाते हैं यार.
He is.
Wally sir is a legend in Delhi, Chetan यार. क्या
I know,
प्रियांशु
but-
क्या कर रहे हैं? Wally
Yeah,
See,
sir
the point is,
This is what
Yeah.
Manuja said, right? This is what Manuja said, that Sanju Samson is also a legend, isn't he? Fan club है
Of
भाई
course he
इसका.
is.
There's a
हाँ.
Sanju Samson. There
There
people
are
are
murals in murals down south.
Srini,
see,
go ahead.
the point
Pockets
is,
of South,
you know what?
Sahil, pockets of
Sorry?
South. Pockets of
Pockets of south. Thank you.
See, the point is, okay, let's keep these numbers, etc., aside. The important thing is, okay, I mean, for this series, these three T20, we're playing three T20s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you play Sanju for three T20s, and then you figure out what you're going to do. You're going to play a lot of T20s between now and whenever. There are going to be a lot of opportunities. So this is where I was coming from. When I look at Gotham, and he's in a beautiful place right now in terms of the responsibility that lies in front of him. He has the potential and the canvas to do something extremely extraordinary. All right. And it's a very young bunch. It's all like kind of, he has a free hand now that, he doesn't really have the seniors around. It's his team to make. It's his, kind of this thing to build. And from that standpoint, I'd like to see. I look at it this way. Actually, I'll bring an analogy from work. Somebody said something very interesting to me in terms of how senior management works, and it was a lesson where someone said that it's not about how quickly you learn new things that decides how quick are you in adapting something. It's about how quick you are in understanding something will not work and then moving on to something else. In that lies the trick in terms of trying something new, how quick you can be in terms of understanding what is not going to work. So in Gautam's case, you're free to try whoever you want to try. You want to give Sanju Samson another chance. We all know that Gautam seems to have some kind of a soft corner for
Sanju
Sanju.
Samson.
Having
Yeah.
said that, you take your tries, no problem with that. How soon you come to an understanding that, listen, this is not going to work for me. I need to go back to a
Plus-
Nishan Kishan. I need to go back to a Dhruv Jarel.
Yeah.
I think that's where. And having said that, I think I have full faith in someone like Gautam Gambhir to kind of.
Absolutely.
come
Let's
the
move
over.
on quickly. Abhishek Sharma, I mean, I saw him in the Punjab T20 league, the Shere Punjab. I was there working on that tournament. Um, he's already a superstar. He's already a superstar. Every time he used to play, people used to come and watch him. Galleries bhar jati thi Mohali Stadium pe. He used to bring the crowds to the ground. The only thing I think, and I think it's a consensus with everybody that's watching him right now, कि भाई थोड़ा सा patience, because he has that game. What I also like about him is that he also bowls. क्योंकि Sahil, we've discussed a lot of Indian selection. We don't have a white ball player who can bowl a bit. So there is something there, right? Nitish Reddy is there, Abhishek Sharma, spin variety, pace variety. If he can just, or is it too much to ask कि थोड़ा आप रुक के खेलो, आप अपना natural game ही खेलोगे? Srini, you also want to speak? Please go ahead.
अभी देखो मयांक यादव क्या
Yeah.
कर रहा है इस टीम में. Why is he there?
Yeah.
आपने उसको व्हाइट बॉल खिलाया, आप जो भी अपॉर्चुनिटी आपने दिया उसको, आपने आइडेंटिफाई किया कि इसके पास स्पेस है, आपने आइडेंटिफाई किया ये बढ़िया बॉलर है, आपने सब कुछ आइडेंटिफाई किया है. व्हाई आर यू वेस्टिंग अ बॉय लाइक दैट in an absolutely useless
No, it's
three-match?
about. I think Srini.
I
When
would
you spoke
rather,
about,
I
yeah,
would rather that he is spending like a little more time, behind the scenes until first class season begins. Play a good season of Ranji Trophy. Play a good season of red ball cricket. Just don't take. Don't. आपने जब एक पेस बॉलर ना आपने एक आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया है, तो आप बैकएंड पे तैयार करो उस बॉलर को. दिस इज एन एंटायरली थैंकलेस स्पेस. IPL, I understand. It's about the money that you take home. I'm sorry, but this is what
I think it was just about trying to gauge what Mayank Yadav offers, but we'll talk about it at a later
Chetan,
stage.
more than that,
Yeah.
just quick update on that. So Mayank Yadav, Srini right now is not cleared for red ball cricket. As of
Yeah.
now, they just want to test his body for white ball because
Ye
red ball
discuss
they aren't really sure about him in red ball. And I think during the inaugural show we spoke, when I spoke to
Yeah.
biomechanics specialist, that since he hasn't made any significant change to his action, that side strain could still return. And he hasn't shown that a 150 delivery yet. So we need to be very careful with him. And I don't see him playing red ball cricket abhi ek do mahina to. बहुत मुश्किल लग रहा है.
Quickly, Sahil, your comment on Abhishek Sharma before we move on. Is it a case of again कि भाई अपना natural game खेलने दो? Sahil?
Well, I really follow him on Instagram and I kind of keep track of him. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Go ahead.
So I'm saying I kind of keep a track of what he does on Instagram and who he practices with. So there was this reel where he was practicing with Yuvraj Singh, and Yuvraj in Punjabi told him, Maharaj, thode single bhi palo. So for the Hindi and the English audience, he said, yaar, just take a couple of singles at least. So I think that mindset that you just can't hit every and any ball for a six has to change with Abhishek Sharma. It works on true surfaces, but कल दिल्ली वाले surface पे जहां आप गेंद पे उंगलियां फेर रहे थे, बॉल फंस रहा था, कल he was undone by pace. I think that delivery was nearly 150 or even 150, 147, 148, angled away from the left-hander. He went for that big hoik over mid-wicket. Nothing was right about that shot. So he has to be smarter. He has a beautiful range of shots. I think that bat swing and bat flow reminds of Yuvraj during his 2001-2002 days. Yeah, that bat swing is unreal. That back swing is absolutely unreal. Abhishek Sharma. And you mentioned about his left arm spin, Chetan. You would have seen more about him. I remember that Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy 2 years ago, where he was actually starting the spell for Punjab. वो पहला over डालने आता था पंजाब के लिए.
That's the thing. अभी जैसे मैंने बताया ना, शेर पंजाब T20 में he did not score too many runs. I was there doing commentary there. Yaar, he bowled almost every match. He bowled the new ball in the power play. That's a very, very, very valuable thing for Indian cricket. आपको पहली बात तो आपको ऐसे बैटर्स ही नहीं मिलते जो bowling कर पाए, और वो भी spin variety. ठीक है, you have Hardik now. Nitish Reddy is coming up. Although I think he needs to improve a bowling a little bit more. लेकिन a batter who can bowl with the new ball in the power play, or just bowl really, proper spin, wicket taking spin. That's a filler.
He's not a filler. He's not a filler bowler.
And
he's
a
not
proper filler. Exactly. That's not a part-timer. He's a proper bowler. Okay. Very quickly.
He should be in the early 20s. 23. He's same as Shubman. No, played the World Cup together.
23, 24.
Yeah, 23, 24. Okay, ये comment था जो I wanted to take that comment. I've forgotten. Another before we move on. Manuja, this is very quickly so that we can move on. Another bowler, because we want to take as many comments as possible. We want to make this show very engaging. Another bowler who has done well is Varun Chakravarti. Oh yeah, 2 matches. He's coming back after what? That T20 World Cup. This is clearly a GG player. Let's be very honest about it. And he's doing well also under GG. What do you reckon over here? Because Ravi Vishnu is also a GG player.
Very honestly, I'm not a great fan of Varun Chakravarti because to play, especially in T20 format, you're not the all-round player I'm looking at. Fielding wise, variation wise, you don't know which side of the bed he's turned up. You don't know which Varun Chakravarti is coming onto the field. So he's not somebody I would see playing. I mean, there's just too much of competition for him to take his place for granted.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's very, very fair. जैसा हमने पहले भी बात की है कि this is not your number 1 T20 squad. This is just a squad that's going to be they'll keep on building. ये थोड़ा out of syllabus question है, so we'll are these players Samson, Ruturaj worth 18 crores? You know what? We'll talk about retentions. Tajinder, please keep joining us. Let's move on. Pakistan में बहुत कुछ हो रहा है. Let's move on. Let's talk about that test match.
आज जो हुआ है वो बहुत मजेदार हुआ है.
वो बहुत मजेदार हुआ है. मतलब आप एक सड़क पर इतने रन पटवा दो
और 6 विकेट गई, फिर उसके बाद रन छोड़ो भाई.
ओके यू नो व्हाट, हमने स्कोर कार्ड नहीं बनवाया डिस्कशन के लिए क्योंकि हमने एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था कि 6 विकेट गिर जाएगी पाकिस्तान की। नेशनल हाईवे पर वो लोग क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं अपने, और you know this is what happens. First talk about baseball, come on boss, उस विकेट पे अगर आप 800 रन नहीं मारोगे तो कहां मारोगे? लेट्स नॉट डू बेसबॉल। और जो बेसबॉल के आशिक है ना सदियों पुराने, उनको मैं ये बता दूं, 310 बॉलों पे उसने 300 मारा है। हमारे वीरेंद्र सहवाग ने 270 बॉल्स पे 100 मारा है। सो baseball did not invent Baz did not invent baseball. Virender Sehwag invented baseball. But yeah, fully, full credit to England, Srini, to make a win out of this. Full credit to England or full credit to Pakistan?
फुल क्रेडिट मतलब किस चीज का क्रेडिट? आई रियली
मैच
काइंड
एक ड्रॉ हो रहा था,
ऑफ
एक आपने बिल्कुल
दिस इज लाइक द ब्रॉडकास्टर टेलिंग द क्रिकेट बोर्ड, देखो 5 दिन का टेस्ट मैच नहीं होगा, मैं पैसे नहीं दूंगा।
पैसे नहीं दूंगा अगर रिजल्ट नहीं आया तो।
सो द क्रिकेट बोर्ड सेइंग कि सर आप हम आपको 5 दिन का टेस्ट मैच गारंटी करके देते हैं, रिजल्ट आप बाजू रखिए, 5 दिन का टेस्ट मैच हम आपको गारंटी करके देते हैं। I don't see any logic. I really don't see, unless Pakistan was really thinking that it's going to outbat England here. And if that was the whole theory based on what kind of logic, I really fail to understand. I don't see कई एंगल से इसको देखने की कोशिश किया, nothing makes sense, you know.
Let's be honest, Pakistan wickets have always been like this. आप see, I'm born in 80s, तो I मेरे को उसके पहले का नहीं मैंने देखा हुआ, लेकिन सुना जरूर है. The wickets have always been like this, but they had great bowlers यार on those wickets. They had some great umpires giving their bowlers wickets as well. लेकिन they had great bowlers. They had great bowlers to bowl on those wickets. Pakistan doesn't have great bowlers anymore. Spinner तो है ही नहीं. Pacer भी अब medium pace करा रहे हैं उनके, you know.
बैटर्स कहाँ हैं? मतलब वो 500 रन उन्होंने लगा दिए बोर्ड पे, which is
exactly उन पिचेस पे भी बैटर्स नहीं है आपके पास, you know. So okay, let's come to the big question. Let's have that scorecard. Will Joe Root break Sachin's record? Let's start Manuja, Sahil, and then Srini. Come on.
No, Srini, let Srini go first. He's spoken
Okay.
the least amongst us today.
Okay, Srini, go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, so let me so he's at 12,500 runs right now. 12,400.
It's on the board. Yeah, it's on the board. Yeah.
So 15,900. So he has to go to
3,000. 3,000.
Yeah, 3,500. So technically 3,500 to 3,600 runs about. Well, I mean, if Pakistan were to host England every year, then I'm sure this is happening. But having said that, let's look at what exactly is England going to be facing.
Yeah. So So let me say that. Let me outline that. Next year, India go there for 5 tests. Then uske next year they go to Australia for 5 tests. Then England come to India for 5 tests, and then Australia goes to England for 5 tests. So अगले 4 साल में, when everybody, next 3.5 years starting from 25, when everybody is expecting Joe Root to overcome Sachin, they have 20 tests against India and Australia. And why I think these 20 tests are important, क्योंकि ये दो bowling attacks हैं जहां पे Joe Root might struggle a bit more, थोड़े challenging हो सकते हैं. These 3 sides are the pinnacle of test cricket at the moment. Go ahead.
उसके अलावा भी चेतन, one is getting 100 out there, and one is it's another thing to talk about daddy hundreds, So the kind of hundreds that we are seeing in this series. Now, daddy hundreds are going to happen if you kind of keep coming to the subcontinent. That's where the possibility is a little more than probably England playing at home, or England going to Australia for a nationals, especially a nationals, or even when a team like India going there. So
Joe Root doesn't have a test century in Australia,
and this guy is 33 going on 34. I don't know how many months he is away from 34. Okay. The thing is, and we saw this in Sachin's career also. He had that end phase of his career where he took it to a different high, and then it just continued. And the last 7 to 8 years, it was a different Sachin Tendulkar that we had missed post turn of the century. It is that Sachin we got to see again. From that perspective, can Joe Root do this? If there's any batter right now who's given me serious hope that he can do it, it is this guy. But then 3,500 runs are no small thing. You're looking at 3 years of absolute consistent cricket, and in that you have a huge India tour of England coming up, and a huge, an Ashes coming up.
20 tests, twice.
20 tests, fair enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough, but let's get to the point that you've got to start. Every test series is important.
yeah,
So, and to start with, you have to look at those 5 tests when you're playing at home against India. You're not going to get daddy hundreds there. Even if you manage those hundreds, you're going to be like, let's say Joe Root ends up scoring a couple of centuries. We are not looking at those kind of centuries. So, if he really needs to, at the end of 3 years from now, by the time he'll be 35 plus, going on 36, if you're
yeah,
really looking at he touching Sachin Tendulkar's mark, then he's got to be playing daddy hundreds, and that's serious punching above his weight. I mean, that's what I'm looking at. It's not at all easy. Um, it's just look at it. This is almost touching 16,000 runs, and
yeah, yeah. That's a lot.
and
No, and
especially
also
yeah.
20, 20 matches, 40 innings. You're looking at about 38 centuries.
Yeah,
If you have to get to that magic figure of 59, 21, how realistic is it? It's one thing to say, well, he's getting there. He'll always have a special place in history, route, taking nothing away from the player that he is. 4 years, the demands of cricket has changed from the time Tendulkar played.
yeah,
So, he's played what, 147 tests.
yeah,
Also, Chetan, is he going to play all 20? It's a very hypothetical situation here.
yeah, yeah.
He's going to get 20 matches, 40 innings to get to those 3,009 odd runs.
I think
It's
a
a
big
very
factor.
nice number, this thing, but will he get there? I don't think so.
Okay, Sahil, before I come to you, it's I think a big factor is going to be कि इंग्लैंड क्या सोच रहे हैं. अभी जेम्स एंडरसन का था कि 200 टेस्ट मैचेस वो खेलेगा या नहीं खेलेगा, how long is he going to play. Suddenly out of the blue Brendan McCullum says, okay, you know what, you're no longer in our plans. आप bowling coach बन जाओ, part time golf खेलो, but you're no longer in our test match plans. So
Yeah.
England are kind of like that as well. It's going to depend a lot on how, because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. The biggest thing for baseball, they don't give, okay, they don't care. Okay, let me rephrase, they don't care about world test championship or anything. They just don't. ठीक है, नहीं तो अभी बेसबॉल करके वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप के फाइनल में पहुंचने के लिए खेल रहे होते. दे केयर अबाउट एशेस, दे डोंट केयर अबाउट एनीथिंग एल्स. England goes to Australia, baseball fails, they don't win the Ashes, they will start rethinking their team कि हमें एक ऐसी टीम बनानी है जो Ashes वापस जीत सके. पिछला Ashes भी उन्होंने घर पे ड्रॉ किया, मॉरल विक्ट्री असाइड, उन्होंने वो ड्रॉ किया. अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाके वो क्या Ashes जीतेंगे पता नहीं, फिर उनके घर पे Ashes. So it's about the Ashes. If they do not win Ashes in a prolonged time, they are not going to care about Joe Root's record. They'll say कि bring the new batter in, we need new batter in, हमें नई टीम बनानी है, नया middle order चाहिए, नए batters चाहिए, so that we can win that Ashes.
unless he gives them hope.
That is the approach. And in
Unless
2
he
years time, in 2 years time we'll see that approach. Yeah,
unless he gives them a serious reason.
yeah, of course, serious reason देना पड़ेगा ना. Even, yeah, obviously let's be honest, he's not going to continue scoring
Why I'm
700.
saying this is because between we going to England next year and the Ashes, subsequent Ashes, he would have reached a stage where he has to compel ECB to give that a thought. It would have already reached that stage by then.
Yeah,
And his
absolutely.
average is, I think, 50 going on 51 right now.
Yeah.
So if you go by the current test average, batting average that he has, let's say 20 test matches, he ends up scoring 10 hundreds, purely going by his average.
Yeah.
I'm just saying overall career average. Let's say it peaks, he scores 10 hundreds. Please understand that 10 hundreds may get him 2,000 runs, more in 20 test matches. But that effort in putting those 10 hundreds on table is going to be massively,
And he's not
kind
getting
of,
younger.
it's
he's
going to
not
be
getting
very
younger.
demanding.
Sahil, your
And then
thoughts
again,
before we
you
move
get
on?
1900 more.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sahil, your thoughts before we move on to the main, कहते हैं ना कि main event of today's show.
No, Chetan, he's a very, very special player. And last 4 years, my respect has gone up several notches for him. It's no ordinary feat to amass 1,000 plus runs in every calendar year in the last 3 seasons, in 3 out of the last 4 calendar years. 1,700s we are talking about in the last 4 years. That's no joke. There were discussions around Fab Four, Steve Smith, Kane Williamson, Virat Kohli. He has just cut away from the pack. Let's not discuss pitches, nature of pitches. सड़क पे भी रन करने के लिए बैट बॉल को सही टाइम पे मीट करना चाहिए. मतलब जो लोग बोलते हैं ना पाटा पे रन बना दो, आंख बंद करके पाटा पे भी रन नहीं होते. बैट को कनेक्ट करना है, गैप तब भी फाइंड करना है. एंड 1700s boss. If I look at the next 2 years and if he continues at the rate which he is right now and the way he's playing, why I'm saying the way he's playing, because when England came to India, first 2 tests, or rather first 3 tests before we went to Ranchi, and that Ranchi pitch was straight out of some NASA territory, क्योंकि वो पता नहीं, मैं इतना पास से कोई पिच मतलब टेस्ट सीरीज में देखा नहीं था. मैं एकदम चला गया सेंटर के ऊपर. दिस वाज -3. I reached 3 days before the test, so I went straight to the pitch. मैं जाके देखा and I straight looked at, I think Ashish Bhaumik was there. I looked at him, I said, is this the playing surface? And he was like, yes, you have a problem. I go, no, I'm just having a look. I'll just go. I was trying to take a picture. I couldn't, but that pitch had different hues of brown and everything. Joe Root,
yeah,
reverse sweep कर रहा था उससे पहले सीरीज में, baseball कर रहा था, but he just switched off. In the middle of the series, he switched off, and that was a masterclass 100. I think one of the better visiting hundreds you would have seen in the last 4-5 years at least. So from there on, I think my respect एकदम बढ़ गया यार. मतलब उस इंडियन बॉलिंग अटैक, स्पिनिंग अटैक के सामने आप क्या बैटिंग कर रहा था, क्या टेम्परामेंट दिखा रहा था. वो बेसबॉल ब्रेंडन मैकलम बेंच तो कुछ भी मगजमारी कर रहे हैं बाहर बैठ के. वो ओली पॉप आके बोल रहा है ये पिच तो पता नहीं कहां से आया है, उसको फर्क नहीं पड़ा. He just cut the outside noise and the way he played. वो सचिन का रिकॉर्ड तोड़े ना तोड़े, अगर वो यहाँ से नंबर 2 भी बन जाता है, I think to me he would be one of the greatest batters of modern era यार. One of the greatest batters to have played the game in the modern generation. And just to cut away from, and one last thing, Chetan, just to cut away from that noise of, see, he wasn't that much talked about when Steve Smith and Virat Kohli were probably raging, right? मतलब सारा टेंशन आप स्टीव स्मिथ को लेते थे क्योंकि एक तो उसको थिएटर करना है 22 यार्ड के ऊपर भी. विराट कोहली का भी अलग थिएटर चालू रहता है. केन विलियमसन इज फॉरएवर गुड बॉय, सो ही विल कीप हिज हेड डाउन एंड कीप स्कोरिंग रन्स. बट ये चुपचाप लगा रहा, एंड इन द लास्ट 4 years वो नाइट्रोजन N2O सिलेंडर को बटन दबाया और फास्ट एंड फ्यूरियस हो गया.
नाइट्रो बूस्ट. Okay. This is a question just for you. This is a question just for you, or maybe Manuja can also answer. Where will Virat finish in Test cricket? Do you see him getting 10,000 runs in Test cricket? It's a you know what? ये इंडियन क्रिकेट के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा सवाल है. Will Virat get 10,000 runs in Test cricket before he retires? It's a big question mark. I think all 3 of you should answer. Maybe even I should. Let's start with Manoj.
Yeah, I really don't think so.
Okay.
Because
yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
no, because of the way his career is panning out now, yes, his focus is on red ball cricket, but how long is he going to sustain himself in the format?
Okay. Sahil?
I think continuity is very important, and I'm all for privacy and respect and personal breaks and everything, but missing 5 tests on the bounce, missing that important Australia tour, I'm not questioning why he missed that. I'm just saying that there has been lack of continuity in his test career, which probably has done more harm than good to what he would have liked as far as red ball aspirations are concerned. And if you ask Virat Kohli or anyone close to him, if he ends below 10,000, he would consider his career a job half done. That's where he keeps Test cricket, and I still feel he can turn it around. And that Australia tour will give you a sneak peek into the future. वहां अगर 2-3 सैकड़े लग गए, वरना तो फिर भाई ड्रैग होने वाला है, और वो ड्रैग हम देख.
I agree with that. I agree with that because Australia has been a favorite hunting ground for him. Srini, your thoughts?
3 tests against New Zealand अभी आ रहे हैं. 3 tests we play. 3 टेस्ट मैच खेल रहे हैं. ये 3 टेस्ट जो आप घर पे खेल रहे हो ना, यही आपका कंफर्ट जोन है. इसके बाद में आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया जा रहे हो, इसके बाद में इंग्लैंड है, उसके बाद में साउथ अफ्रीका है. तो 5 साउथ अफ्रीका में कितने खेलेंगे? 3. जो भी 12-13 जो टेस्ट मैचेस है आपके अगले 12-13, वो एक स्टीप डिमांड है आपका. नाउ द वे विराट हैज
just to mention जो आप नेक्स्ट 12-13 टेस्ट गिना रहे हो, next 12 tests after this are away tests for India.
That's what. And all 3 are the destinations. So it's definitely not an easy thing. So Virat, वो कैसे भी क्रॉल करके अगर वो 10,000 टच कर ले, आई डोंट नो, इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी अ सैटिस्फाइंग एंड, you know,
Yeah, I
unless
agree.
he
I agree.
just unless
And
he just like
I
kind
actually,
of takes his batting to a very different level, which he's not showing any
that's the
glimpses
thing.
of.
That's the big question mark for me. और प्रियांशु का comment बिल्कुल सही है. This BGT is going to decide because I've been fortunate enough to cover Virat in Australia on the last 3 tours. He was a different beast in Australia, batting on those pitches. Of course, the जो pandemic वाला series था वहाँ पे he was not there. He's a different beast in Australian conditions. And if he's not able to replicate, अगर वो same level का performance नहीं आया विराट से in his favorite hunting ground away from India, I think that's going to be a big, big,
I
not a
guess the
question.
only solution is Multan भेजो उसको.
Multan bhejo. Okay. Yeah. So let's on that note, let's come to the main event of our show today. This has been an ongoing subject. India, क्या India जाएगा Pakistan Champions Trophy खेलने के लिए 2025? Is it going to be another model where some matches are happening elsewhere? Uh, let's start with Srini. What do you think? Telegraph UK says, again, for our viewers, Telegraph UK says Champions Trophy final could be moved from Lahore to Dubai. BCCI again unwilling, of course, for political tension. Event scheduled from February, as we all know. 9 March is the final. How are we looking
Has
at
the
this?
Champions Trophy schedule already come?
Not the,
The
just the
It has not
window.
been released. It has not been released. It's
No, no,
been
So
just
how
the
does
window.
Telegraph know that the final was in Lahore?
no,
No,
because
that was confirmed.
because
Venue Reiki
the
was
rough
happened.
schedule है. PCB ने जो
Yeah.
rough schedule ICC के साथ share कर दिया है.
वो लेकिन फॉर्मल नहीं, मतलब
It's not been formally released. It's
फॉर्मल नहीं
not
था
been
ना वो.
formally released. Yeah, it's
तो
not been
ये
formally
मतलब
released.
ये so basically what Telegraph report is saying is that the draft
Yeah,
PCB draft schedule could
yeah.
make a change of shifting the Lahore final to Dubai.
Is
Nothing
it just
formal,
the
nothing.
Lahore final though? Is it just the Lahore final? क्योंकि
See, let's cut a long story short. India is not going to go to Pakistan. That's not happening.
okay.
I'm not going to get into whether this should happen, this should not happen, what is correct, what is incorrect. No. You're asking me, will they go? I don't see them going. Now, arrogant, whatever, we can do another show on that. Point is, they will not go to Pakistan, resulting in a hybrid tournament. The hybrid tournament will be between Dubai and Pakistan. Pakistan can very well host their share of matches there. When it comes to India, the matches will be held in the UAE, whatever, Dubai or Sharjah or wherever.
Yeah,
And if India make it to the knockouts, it will be
the
similarly on the
knockout.
lines of,
But here's the question. Here's the question. आप if knockouts नहीं कर सकते हो, because there's a lot of logistics involved. There's a lot of broadcast people need to move around, cameras and crews and everything. So again, it's not about कि if India qualifies, आपका schedule पहले से ही तय होना चाहिए. जैसे हमने एशिया कप में देखा, are we looking at a hybrid model where Pakistan plays its matches in Pakistan along with a few select matches, and all the knockouts, including the semis and the final, along with India matches, are scheduled in the UAE? Are we looking at that once again? Srini and then Sahil.
Listen. I'm not privy to information whether all matches are going to be moved out. I'll just stick to the fact that where India is concerned, it's very
Okay.
unlikely that they're going to play in Pakistan, and therefore any match that may involve India will not be held in Pakistan. That's where I'm also in the same vein. Let me also probably say this, that the final may be shifted to the United Arab Emirates, apropos whether India is playing, regardless whether
Again,
India
that's
playing
my question.
or
कि
not,
आप if and but आप
because there's
knockouts के
going to
साथ
be,
if and but नहीं कर सकते.
sorry,
Knockouts के साथ आप if and but नहीं कर सकते ना कि ये यहाँ
that's what
होगा या यहाँ होगा.
that's what I'm saying. I will not comment on this until the schedule is out. I'm obviously not as educated as the Telegraph is. The point
Okay.
being that I'm still going to wait, and I'll go to stick to the simple fact that India will not. It's unlikely. Will not need. That's too. This thing about India is unlikely to travel to Pakistan to play the
Yeah.
Champions Trophy. Again, we are looking at it in a very black and white scenario. I can tell you one thing behind, like there are a lot of other factors that are in play right now. The financials behind the Champions Trophy are not adding up, so they are trying to kind of figure out how can the tournament, kind of what can they do to kind of make the tournament a better revenue model. Right now, it's a disaster, total disaster. So they're
Okay.
trying to remedy things.
Okay. So Sahil and Manuja, thoughts from you. Is there a possibility? Matlab, not a possibility. Of course, there's a possibility. Let's say कि uh, let's say the entire, does it make more sense to shift the entire tournament and let Pakistan be their designated hosts? And if that is the scenario, would you want to play in the UAE, or would you say ki let's get it to another country, maybe South Africa?
No,
I
why
would go
not?
with
But I think, sorry,
Yeah,
Manuja, please go ahead. Please go
yeah,
ahead. Please
Manuja,
go
no,
ahead.
I go ahead.
Go
no,
ahead.
no,
Go ahead.
let's
Yeah,
learn.
so I would say South Africa because, like Srini said, you really don't see this team going to Pakistan. Given
Hmm.
the fragile situation the Champions Trophy is in, can you afford the logistic costs of having it in two different
Hmm.
countries? Asia Cup was different. You were, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. It involves smaller logistics. It involved lesser teams, and also involved Asian teams. So if you are looking at a hybrid model for Champions Trophy, uh, Pakistan and UAE, I don't know how it. How do you marry that in terms of finances?
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay,
will that be a financially viable option?
okay,
Instead, do something to appease Pakistan. Just move the entire tournament out, and like you said, they host it.
okay. Sahil?
Yeah.
See, I don't want to complicate matters here.
Okay,
It's
okay,
very,
okay.
it's
Let me complicate matters. Let me complicate matters before you answer. Uh, Abhi, before the test match started, let's be very honest. What is the issue here? Okay, इस शो पे आपको ऑनेस्ट ओपिनियंस ही मिलेंगी, एटलीस्ट मुझसे मिलेंगी, ठीक है? दैट इज माय यूएसपी. लेट्स बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. इंग्लैंड पाकिस्तान का टेस्ट मैच शुरू होने से पहले देयर वाज अ बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट, अ मेजर बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट. Are you saying कि इतना major tournament happens in Pakistan and there's a security issue, the tournament is going to go ahead? I don't think so. Because you're talking about not one team, you're talking about multiple teams, you're talking about high security issues with Australia, New Zealand, England, broadcasters, everything. So, in that scenario can happen anywhere in the world. Let's not be unkind to Pakistan. कहीं पे भी हो सकता है, although possibilities are higher of happening in Pakistan. So, in that scenario, that's a complicated scenario. मैंने complicate कर दिया है आपके लिए साहिल ये question.
no, but Chetan, see, I don't think any visiting team has so far shown any reservations regarding traveling to Pakistan, whether it's Australia, whether
Yes,
it's England,
yes.
whether it's that's what I'm coming to, whether it's New Zealand, and
Hmm.
we have seen far more unrest in the country than what's happening right now, right?
Yeah.
आप 6-8-10 महीने पहले का बात करो, conditions were far more worse than what they are right now. So no
Yeah.
visiting team has kind of put a red flag to traveling to Pakistan. So is a hybrid model on. As Srini said, nothing is cast in black and white right now. But Pakistan, that's what ICC people are telling us or telling me. I spoke to someone a couple of days back. Pakistan, for a change, have been very adamant to the fact that they want to host this tournament. They want to keep the hosting rights. They want cricket to be played in Pakistan. But the same person only really can't do anything about India, right? Agar if India would want, India might as well take the entire tournament to UAE. Now my problem with UAE is what I'm seeing in the Women's World Cup right now. There has been so much cricket in UAE in the last 12 months और वहाँ पे उतने वेन्यू नहीं है. 2-3 वेन्यू का आपने परेड बना दिया है. Pitches are so tired right now and we are talking about a
And
turnaround
they'll be,
time.
and let me add, they will be even more tired क्योंकि IL T20 का next edition starts in
That's what I
January.
was coming to.
और
That's what I
Champions
was
Trophy
coming
फिर
to.
उसके बाद होगा.
करेक्ट, मैं उसी पे आ रहा था कि आप जैन फेब के अंदर फिर चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी करेंगे एंड आईसीसी नॉर्म से कि एक महीना पहले आपको आईसीसी को ग्राउंड हैंडओवर करना है. तो जनवरी, अगर 19 फरवरी का हम टेंटेटिव स्टार्ट बोल रहे हैं, 19 जनवरी तक. अब तो मुझे लगता नहीं एंडी एटकिंसन साथ जाने वाले हैं पिच कंसल्टेंट बन के. जो भी नया पिच कंसल्टेंट होगा उसको जाके अपना रेकी करना पड़ेगा वहां पे. तो एक महीना पहले हाउ कैन यू इंजेक्ट लाइफ इनटू दोस पिचेस and 50 over games? You don't want drag boring games, right? So all these things need to be factored in, because right now the only thing which is worrying me right now as far as UAE and a hybrid model is concerned, UAE के अंदर you need recovery time यार. Pitches को भी पसीना
Okay, I think we
accurate.
might have lost. Yeah, are you back?
So that's what my reservation regarding a hybrid thing is.
Okay, before we close today's thing, I think we'll take this one final question from Sports Warriors. We would like अगर आप अपना असली नाम बताएं, but Sports Warriors का question है why Pakistan was awarded ICC CT when it is always an issue. Srini, you want to take that one?
A lot of things have happened in the ICC where I keep asking, why did it happen? Not everything that they do actually makes sense. I mean, I can actually say that for to the misfortune of world cricket, there have been really some, inefficient people who have been running for the longest time running world cricket. That is exactly why these things have happened. All I can tell you is, when you allot a tournament to any country anywhere, you take some basic presentations in terms of what that country is capable of. आप ये नहीं कि मेरा मन किया तो मैंने उठा के tournament दे दिया, which is why you are seeing the kind of mess that happened in the United States, where the World Cup was shifted. I've said this in the previous, I think one of our shows also, that the money that it took for the ICC to construct a makeshift stadium in New York. निरंजन शाह ने उससे सस्ते में राजकोट में एक परमानेंट स्टेडियम बनाया है. That's the truth. I mean, you wasted that kind of money. So as I said, not everything that these people do has a lot of sense attached to it. Why was it given? Politics played a huge role. Because remember, ICC is a body that it's the mechanism is based on voting. And if you remember, at that time the BCCI was in a very vulnerable state, and there were other people who took charge of the ICC. It will require another show. So let's not go there. Point is, right now, just stick to the fact that India for Champions Trophy. That's the only focus. And on that front, I can tell you, like, let's not digress. Hybrid tournament, number of matches that UAE is going to hold, etc., etc. All of that is secondary. Only India will not travel to Pakistan. You know that Australia has been okay to go to Pakistan, and it's got nothing to do with Pakistan being a safe country or an unsafe country, or etc. etc. No, I mean, if England is going there, obviously they have done their homework. If Australia is going there, obviously they have done their homework. They have identified it's a great place to play cricket. That is exactly why they have traveled. Let's give credit where it is due. India will not travel primarily for very different reasons, because, to put it in absolute clear English, they don't want to travel. That is why they will not travel. It is not because of what Pakistan is offering or what Pakistan is not offering. These guys will not travel because they don't want to travel. So these guys will play in UAE because they want to play in UAE. Now it is BCCI's way of saying कि आपको पसंद है तो कर लो tournament, नहीं पसंद है तो मत करो tournament. It's as simple as that. That is where this is going to go. I know I'm going to, every time I say this, it brings a lot of people get pissed. But the fact is, they are getting pissed or not getting pissed doesn't change a few facts.
It's a truth, right?
This is how it's going. Even in the run up to the Sri Lanka, that Asia Cup, I kept saying, like, there is a reason why Asia Cup is happening despite India saying that we will not want to travel.
Yeah.
Asia Cup will still happen because the economics of it revolve around what India wants to do. I will say the same thing for Champions Trophy. Apropos, regardless what India wants to do, the tournament will happen the way BCCI wants it to happen, because the economics are designed that way.
Okay. So let that be
And
the last comment.
चेतन लास्ट छोटा सा बहुत मेरा डेटा एकदम परफेक्ट हो गया. इससे पहले रविशंकर मेरे डेटा को और पहले. So there were suggestions around South Africa as well, right? South Africa, I was just thinking about it. Under 19 World Cup, which was supposed to happen in Sri Lanka, administrative mess. It was moved to South Africa at the last moment. South Africa recently hosted a Women's T20 World Cup as well, not very long back. And South Africa is scheduled to host a 2027 ODI World Cup too. So moving a Champions Trophy to South Africa, मतलब सब कुछ उसकी झोली में नहीं देने वाले.
Why Champions Trophy go to South Africa?
No, I'm just saying कि मतलब there are options being discovered. मैं एक options का बात कर रहा हूँ, just like wildly, just wild options, nothing.
Usually,
And then there's
फुटबॉल का मॉडल देखें, अगर हम फुटबॉल का मॉडल देखें तो जो फीफा वर्ल्ड कप से 2 साल पहले जो उनका सारे कॉन्टिनेंट विनर्स का कंपटीशन होता है, I'm forgetting the name of the trophy, that happens in the host nation only 2 साल पहले. That is a model that can be replicated, but again, that's a very different.
Let me, in fact, say this. This is the last Champions Trophy.
Okay, I think you said that in 2013, 2017 also, when that was the last Champions Trophy.
Because this tournament was again designed when BCCI was not operating. in the ICC. Had BCCI had its presence in the ICC, this Champions Trophy wouldn't have happened. Okay, it
Okay.
is just that the Supreme Court was ruling BCCI ill-equipped to do it, and that is why some others decided and so if it was economics, if it was business of the game at the forefront of Champions
Yeah.
Trophy, would have never happened, and again it did not happen.
Okay, so let that be the last comment for today. आज बहुत सारे comments हैं जो हमने नहीं लिए because they were a little off topic. It's about India, New Zealand. It's about MIA retainer and everything. So yeah, हम लोग ये शो रोज करेंगे 6:15 p.m. we'll be there with the relevant topics Monday to Friday for
ये
now.
ले लो भाई, ये इनको आदित्य को तब से प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है।
ऐसा
ये
है,
ले लो,
अगर हम करने लगे ना, ये हम करने लगे तो सारी
ये
रात
लास्ट ले लो, ये लास्ट ले लो इनका। ठाकुर साहब
बहुत
को खुश करो।
तुम्हें बहुत मजा आ रहा होगा ये रिप्लाई करने में। करो अब, चलो करो।
अरे हार्दिक कहीं नहीं जा रहा भाई, कप्तान है आदित्य भाई, कहाँ
Hardik
जाएगा?
released from
हो गए
MI
खुश? हो गए खुश? बोल के हो
after
गए
the
खुश?
back to Baroda.
अभी? Okay.
चलो क्लोजिंग रिमार्क्स।
As long as our panelists and our viewers are happy, ठीक है? So let's close. Permission है इजाजत? Okay.
Yeah, but just one last one, Chetan. Please remind everybody that Ranji Trophy starts tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
yes.
Oh wow.
Ranji Trophy starts tomorrow. And,
Hey, let's do a show on Ranji Trophy, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes,
And anybody
we
who
will.
was asking about, there are a lot of comments on Ishan Kishan. He comes back to captain Jharkhand tomorrow. All eyes on him. Some exciting matches. I'm a Ranji Trophy champion, so I love championing the cause of domestic cricket.
Ranji Trophy tragic, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Nice.
Okay,
Actually,
absolutely.
I'm really looking forward because I didn't, and you all like the current this year's Dilip.
I think
I don't
it was a fascinating. I think it was a
Yeah?
It
fascinating.
was very nice. Shini, I covered one match.
Huh. No, my
And,
point is, how do you, as a fan, if I'm a fan, how do I identify with the team?
Come to Chinnaswamy Stadium, the only thing you'll hear is RCB. Doesn't matter which team is playing.
Srini, now that you
You
mentioned
have
that,
one player from RCB in any team, you'll hear RCB. That's where the loyalty lies in some stadiums.
Srini, now that we are on to this, one quick last word, because you mentioned about how to relate with the team. Couple of months back at Praveen Amre's book launch, where Ricky Ponting was there, IPL के time पे book launch हुआ था Praveen Amre का, Amrit Mathur, BCCI administrator, was there, and I was discussing on the sidelines with him, sipping coconut water, just coconut water, and I asked, sir, what do you think about Dilip Trophy and ये zonal होना चाहिए, कैसा होना चाहिए? And his response was very good. He said, scrap Dilip Trophy because Dilip Trophy पहले तब होता था जब रणजी ट्रॉफी जोन बेस होता था. So एक कमाड्री आपको जोन बेस दिखता था. रणजी ट्रॉफी का ग्रुपिंग was zone wise. Now that has changed. You have elite 1, elite 2 प्लेट कर दिया, नॉर्थ ईस्ट का अलग ग्रुप कर दिया. So Ranji Trophy, Dilip Trophy holds no relevance zone wise. So I think, to me, I don't know why state associations have opposed national selectors picking Dilip Trophy squads. I think it was a step in the right direction. I see
Sahil,
no
I'll tell you
business.
why. The
Yeah.
biggest problem there is you don't get to pick your quota. So
That's
when
what.
you have a
That's
zonal,
what. And that
each
quota involves
state gets a
quota involves seeing the likes of Pujara. I'm not saying they are quota players. I'm just saying seeing the likes of Pujara, Rahane, Unadkat, when you know they are not serving you any greater good in the future. There's no point having them. I might as well see a Harshit Rana, Himanshu Chauhan from Delhi playing because
एक मिनट.
they are in the larger scheme of things.
और अगर यही करना है तो आपको तो पहली बात तो रणजी ट्रॉफी पहले करना चाहिए ना, दिलीप बाद में करना चाहिए.
तो अब तो वो खैर खराब हो गया कि because BCCI has given into
Dilip
the
is primarily-
demands of the state associations, and they have decided to go back to the zonal format, which to me makes no sense.
I agree. Okay, Chetan.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll obviously talk about Hardik. यार these again, ये Sahil यही होता है. You've started this, so you take this now. No, I think the answer is very very simple here. So what we'll do is we will definitely कल से season start हो रहा है. Obviously, at TOI everybody keeps an eye on everything that's happening in the world of cricket. So, and we have a Ranji Trophy tragic as well. So what we'll do is we will keep updating you guys on Ranji Trophy. We'll have discussions on Ranji Trophy. What are the latest news? Ishan Kishan पर बहुत लोगों की नजर रहेगी. What is he going to be doing? There's a lot coming on that as well. Srini, yes.
That's the beauty about the Times of India,
Yes.
how deeply entrenched its reporting network is.
Yes.
I don't think any media organization in this country, purely from a coverage of cricket standpoint, no media organization in this country comes anywhere close to the Times of India when it comes to last mile connectivity. I think that's where we can build a beautiful, Ranji Trophy coverage on this very platform, which can be an extension of what the Times of India reporters are doing. I think that'll be a that'll be great. Awesome. Let's look
And we
forward to
will. And we will keep coming to you Monday to Friday 6:15 p.m. with new topics, whatever is happening in world cricket. Do join us. Thanks all for your comments today. आज हम सारे comments नहीं ले पाए, जैसा मैंने कहा काफी out of syllabus questions थे despite Sahil's best efforts. But yes, we'll be here. Thank you so much, Srini, Sahil, and to our Ranji Trophy Tragic, Manuja. Hope to see you again in the show. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks to all the
it. Okay.
viewers, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.